talk about sales and marketing. So when I first started up, I used to spend probably, Butler and Even use £100 a week, not even that. I couldn't even tell you because it's back to 1997, so it might have been £50 a week. I used to do local advertisement drops, etc., and I didn't realise that by spending £50 a week, I ain't going to get work. Now, I think a lot of people will get 10,000 leaflets delivered to properties and think they're going to get loads of work. But the reality of that is you probably only get about 5 jobs from 10,000 leaflets. And some of the quality of them jobs are going to be horrendous. So you might spot lucky, or you might, get something that's going to really, really work for you. So sometimes you might pot lucky, but majority of the time you're not. So if you're putting, say, 10,000 leaflets out, that costs you 500 quid, and you're a small one-man band, that's a lot of money for you to get back. So it's very difficult. So I think a lot of the stuff, what you can use now, which is free, is social media. Now, I'm not saying Facebook is going to get you loads, but it will get you brand awareness and it will get you there. I think if I was a small business now, I would be making my own ads and putting them out there using software like Canva. Very, very good piece of software, and just putting stuff on there, be doing shorts and filming jobs, anything I could put out there to tell people. Because when you're first starting up, people are only going to come to you because, one, you're good, but the main reason, in my opinion, is because you're cheap. So how can you be like really good, cheap, and then afford to market? So what I did back in the day is I basically started to say I earned £100, I put £50 away. So I would literally put as much back into marketing as what I was earning. So I was kind of like feeding the business for quite some time. So we started off with the advertisement spends I'm talking about, where when we ended up doing probably about £100,000 a year with Thompson's Local, Yellow Pages, local rag mags, etc. We just dominated the whole area. We just thought, right, what we're going to do is just get loads of ads. Now, how do we get to that? By that simple system of saving. Now, I was quite fortunate because I still live with parents. So when I set my company, I was still with parents. I didn't have massive overheads. Depending on where you are at life, you still need to make money. And I do feel for those guys, but you have to put money into marketing. We spend 10% of our turnover. We're spending roughly about between £5,000 and £8,000 a month on marketing. It's in various different platforms. We do put on Facebook. We do go on to Google. We do Google My Business. There's so much out there. We do local rag mags, which are still effective. We do local sponsorship. We do roundabouts. We do local football teams, kids, loads of stuff around the local area to get our name out there. It's took years and years and years. Majority of the time when we turn up, they say, oh, I recognise you, Van, or we know who you are, because we've been around that long. But that's took years and years. Now, I have seen some companies jump this gap rapid. I know they've done it is the power of social media, but they've been committed and they've been not shy, because ultimately the sales and marketing is absolutely 100% what you need to get right. Because if you're not getting your sales and marketing right, you've got to market to get the sales. And when you go out to do the sales, you've got to sell yourself. So it's no good turning up at 6 o'clock at night when you're knackered and you've done a 12-hour shift and you're stinking of flux and solder and you're walking into house. And, I've been there and the customer's cooking the tea and you're like, oh my God, how hungry am I? And then they're asking you technical questions and they can see straight through you the fact that you don't want to be there. So what I decided to do is basically turn up to the job smarter, allow myself time for quoting. You could possibly just do a day, which is difficult again, because if you just allow a day to do it, you might have emergencies where it's a boiler. Now, they just come in. You just got to go. It's that simple. Like, there's no method for that, or you get a sales team, or you get someone else to help you with the sales, which I do. So ultimately, if we have to go out to do a quote, there's no way I would turn up, in all my plumbing clothes, looking scruffy, smelling of, flux, solder. I basically want that customer to see an impression of me, that we're a brand, that we care about the property, that we go in nice and neat. So the sales is important. If you've not done any sales training, perhaps I would recommend you go and do some, because ultimately that's something that a lot of plumbers miss out on sales. Now, I do appreciate that it's not for everybody this, but I would probably estimate out of 100 companies that try and do this, 10 might do it and succeed. Now, that's fine, that's great, that's not a problem, because ultimately they, who are the one-man bands, they're cool. They're happy doing what they're doing. They don't want the stress. They don't want it. They're happy going home to the family, which is brilliant. That's, that's perfect. But someone like me is driven by success and is driven by leaving a legacy, a footprint, and something that I can be really proud of. Now, you could say that I've got a family and I'm really proud of that. I don't have children. I don't have any of that, and that's probably because I've got a business, which is my baby. So that comes first. But I suppose over the last couple of years, I've realised family comes first. your personal health comes first. And all this sales and marketing becomes extremely stressful when you're not getting results. Could I tell you the magic number? I'd be a multi-millionaire. If I could work out sales and marketing and sell it to you now, I wouldn't be sat here. I'd be sat on a yacht somewhere. So anybody that's doing, you've got to try bits of everything. It's all about testing. Now people talk about testing. What do you mean by testing? Well, every time you spend £1,000 on marketing, it doesn't work. You'll never do that again. It's awful, isn't it? You've got to lose that money. Google love it. Google love changing the algorithm, sort of Facebook and sort of Instagram. Once you start cracking it and getting your head around it, they just flip it and change it. So ultimately, you've got to just be on the ball. Do a strategy plan. What would I do if I'm going looking for, say, a different product? So if I was getting a mobile, what would I do? I'd go to the big boys. Would I go to a backstreet shop? Yeah, I would if I had a lower budget. But it depends on what customers you're trying to attract. Are you trying to attract high-end? Because if you're trying to attract high-end, they want somebody that's got a showroom. They want somebody that's got, a nice uniforms, a nice van, loads of reviews, all them sort of things. Now, I'll touch on that quickly. Reviews are really, really, really important. We've got loads of reviews, but admittedly, we got a bit slack with them. So, like, for instance, we've had loads on Trustpilot, loads on Facebook, loads on, what's the other one? Check a Trade. Which Trusted Trader. We neglected Google. Now, although Google are not vetted, most people do go on Google now. So you've got to get your Google up. Google's difficult because you've got to have a Google account. But again, I mentioned in the last episode, it's like showering. You've got to persistent and keep doing it. I tell our team every day, you need to do this, this, this. And they're great and they're doing it. And then we reward, all our team gets something at the end of it. We don't expect them to, do it. They're doing the job that's, difficult enough. We don't expect them to do it for nothing. So we do little things like get them a toolkit, or this time we're going to take everyone out because they've been that efficient at getting reviews and doing what they should do. They're all neck and neck. So I thought, well, this is a bit unfair because they're all putting the same effort in. So I spoke to the team and said, what do you want to do? Now, all these little things help your sales and marketing. And it's changing and it's growing and everything's getting so different. So my top tip is, sit down and have a think about where your market's coming from. Sit down what do you want. Sit down and what products you want to sell. Because if you market yourself out in the market for everything, we're not Tesco's. It's impossible. We need to structure what do we make the most money and what do we want to do. And then if we're slack, then do the smaller jobs. But if you want to move on, if you want to do boilers, market boilers. If you want to do service, maintenance, repair, boilers, heating and cooling, market that. If you want to do bathrooms, market bathrooms. Pick something, stick to it, and expand on it. So once you've cracked it in any of these industries, you can add verticals with the team you've already got. So if you've got a team of 10 or 13 or 15, 20, whatever it is, you can add verticals to it. So basically, when you're in situations where there's products out there that you couldn't have fitted, you can fit because you've got the team and you can do that. It's very, very easy to flip this business model into other business models. So my top tip is basically sit down, have a think about it, go through what you want to do, choose your market, what you want to do, what product you want to sell, and then go for it. Where would I put my first £500 into? I would probably say I would get a marketeer and probably try to do some sponsor stuff on Facebook and Google. It's not really going to get you much, but you've got to start somewhere. You've then got to start looking at what everybody else is doing because everybody's copying everybody. We're all copying each other. So start looking at people like us. How are they doing it? What are they doing different? Because that's what we do. We look at everybody else and we respect the competition because if there's no competition, you need to realise that you'd all become dormant, including myself. I did come dormant, to be honest with you. We've got some fantastic companies around us, really exciting companies. And I look at them and they look at me and it basically keeps us all going. So competition is healthy and it's important to realise this. So when your sales and marketing is going down, blame yourselves. Just say, why is it? Just stop going, oh, it's this, it's that. And bear in mind, the market is massively down at the minute on boilers. We're up. We're 25 up. And that's because we've been doing more marketing. Although the actual cost per acquisition's gone up, we're still making a profit. Although it'd be very little, but at least we're making a profit. We're not making a loss and we're still continuing because we realise that the most important thing in a company is your staff has got to be happy. I know that everybody knows that. Hate calling them staff. I prefer to call them team members. But you've got to spend money on marketing and sales, just like anything. You've got to keep doing it and testing. And the minute you think you've got too much work and you stop doing this, you're going to have a problem. Because even when you're busy, you still need to be marketing. When you're slack, you need to market even more, which if you're busy, you can save that money up, can't you? and just don't take your foot off the gas. Keep going, get back on the horse, keep going. I'd like to wrap it up to say to everybody, good luck with the sales and marketing. If you need any tips, again, you can get in contact with me. I think personally, nobody really knows the answer to sales and marketing, but there's some tips there. Is choose your product, narrow it down if it's getting too hectic, have a look at where the work's coming from, have a look at what the big boys are doing, have a look at what the one-man bands are doing, have a look at what everybody's doing, and just start Googling and finding out what they're doing, finding out what, what's going on, And again, with your sales, if you're unsure about how to sell something, get a company in, get them through your door, your friend's door, see what they're doing. How the hell are they getting all this work? See what the process is, how they get the customer to sign, or they selling the house or closing the house, whatever you want to call it. Just start reaching out to people that are in the industry, because at the end of the day, there's a big thing what I really believe in. If I can do it, if Charlie Mullins can do it, if them sorts of people can do it, and I'm not putting myself on level with Charlie Mullins, I'm just using him as an example, but anybody can do it. If you're around the right mindset and you put the effort in, you'll do it.